Welcome to Black Belt Selling with Stephanie and Anna Scheller. I'm Anna.
And I'm Stephanie.
We're a mother-daughter team who are passionate. We are downright excited about 2019 and about how you can grow your business through sales. On Black Belt Selling, we bring you guests, we bring you content. We want to help you become a black belt in sales. And it's not what a lot of people think. The techniques, the mindset, all of that is really important. So we want you to, well, first of all, follow us. Follow us if you're listening on Apple or Spotify or Google Play, any of those wonderful places you can find us. Most of all, join us in our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Black Belt Selling. So, Stephanie, I thought today it would be really great for us to talk about some of the concepts from the Grow Retreat, because the Grow Retreat is pretty much your baby. I help with the Grow Retreat. We have a lot of fun with it, but really it grew out of your desire to help businesses grow without having to spend money on hotels and all kinds of airfares in order to get quality retreats in the Texas area. Now, the funny thing is, this last Grow Retreat, probably a quarter of the people who were there flew in from out of town.
Right. I know. I thought that was hilarious because that was a big part of it. I mean, I sat there and I said, okay, we need a retreat. I went to this event for wealth building and I was like, we need one like this, but for businesses. And so that was where the Grow Retreat came from. But then I was also laughing because big part of it was like, I was just sick and tired of flying all over the country. So it felt really good to have all these people aggregating from all over the US to come and attend this event. I will tell you what's felt even better though, has been hearing the stories and the motivation and the excitement that came out of the event for all these attendees who are just over the moon excited because of some of the ideas they got. And I think, it's funny because I really think our theme was really good this year, the Eukairia theme, the concept of that perfect opportunity, that fitting time.
Well, now that's all Greek to me, my dear.
Ah ha ha, funny.
So can you explain a little bit about what Eukairia was or what Eukairia is? And then we can let's talk about how that fits into the black belt mindset.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So Eukairia is, for those of you guys who didn't catch the pun right there, Eukairia is actually the Greek noun for the fitting time or the perfect opportunity. And it's often used in reference to the harvest. So you're looking for that perfect opportunity to harvest the grain or the olives or whatever it is that you happen to be looking to harvest. But what we did was we took it and we started applying it and looking at how that concept of watching for you, because this was back before they had all kind of sciencey gadgets and gizmos that would say, okay, do the harvest on this day, right? They would have to go out and they would have to check the fields and they would check everything every day, checking to see if it was ready to harvest. There was they were constantly looking for that Eukairia, and that became our theme for the Grow Retreat. This concept of that's what entrepreneurs do. Either we're doing it on a large scale, right? Every single business that exists because of a Eukairia moment. It exists because at some point in time, someone looked around and said, there is an intersection between what the market needs and my skill set and my passion, right? They meet here and I'm going to make a business. I'm going to grow a business out of this. And that's the Eukairia moment that starts most businesses. But what makes the difference in a lot of businesses is the additional Eukairia moments they run into along the way. Those moments where you're sitting there and you have almost a eureka moment of, oh my gosh, this is what I need to do next, right? This is the next direction to go with the business that is going to make the difference for us. And that it was really cool to see people looking for, okay, what can be the tiny tweak that can actually really, truly take my business through the stratosphere this year. That was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And for those people who may not really, really understand what that could mean is, we've all been in business. This is with sales too, because a lot of times, we're told it's a numbers game, which it is. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if you're not calling people, you're not going to make any sales. But there comes a moment when you hit that opportune time for your customer, when you're there at the right moment. at the right time, and you have the solution they're looking for. And of course, the thing that you said something really key, Stephanie, and I want to expound on that. And you said sometimes it's just a small tweak. And
Yeah.
so I'm getting ready to train for my 4th degree of black belt. And, I haven't changed my technique a whole lot. As a matter of fact, the more you progress as a black belt, it's not the big things. It's not the huge things that make a difference. It's the little things. It's the little things that you focus on that suddenly have big results. Big results. You want to talk to that one?
Yeah. So, it reminds me of a story that you actually told us when you guys got to meet Grandmaster Hammond Pak, right? And Grandmaster Pak is a great grandmaster. He's actually based out of Korea. He came over here for a trip, and you guys actually got to meet him. And you were telling me about the story where he had you punch at him. And, when we teach our students how to do an open hand knife block, right? We teach them to start here and come across, right? And what you told me was Grandmaster Pak just started right here. Just, right here. Cut the distance in half, really. In fact, actually, I think you said he actually just started right here. And you punched at him, and all he did was a little flick of the wrist. And you were like, it was amazing because I was going at it, and I had no control over it. It's the little things, right? It's the small refinements that we make that make the most impact. Because I can tell you, as a green belt, red belt, that was not the kind of power that open-handed knife hand block had. It really wasn't, right? It's the little tweaks that you make it's changing the rotation right to the point of contact, right? Which makes no sense unless you're actually a martial artist, but it's the fine-tuned things that make the biggest difference, make the most physical difference too, which I think is very cool. And I think that story really sums that up well.
I agree. Now, the other part of Eukairia is that these things don't happen in a vacuum. It's not one of those things that you're walking down the street and suddenly money hits you. What it is it's the culmination. It's the culmination of work. It's the culmination of practice. It's the culmination of mastery in your business. And so if today doesn't seem like that's that Eukairia moment for you, don't sweat it. Just keep doing what you're doing. And as long as it's getting the results, some results you're looking for, that Eukairia, that perfect, that fitting opportunity will come. And, your dad was a farmer. And I remember when we would go and help with harvest, this was before we got into the military and all this stuff. And they would have to go out every day and they would have to look, was the weather going to allow them to harvest? Did they have a good harvest? How did everything led to this moment? Yeah. And they had to be watchful. But of course, with years of practice and years of knowing, they knew when it was the right time to take the sickle to the blade. And so the thing too to understand, I think, about Eukairia, whether it's about business or it's about your sales, which really is both, you have to realize you have to put in the work ahead of time in order to be ready at that moment. Because what if the farmer doesn't plant the seed? What if he doesn't irrigate the crop? Then Eukairia will never be there, because the preparation, there's preparation that goes into that fitting opportunity. So what could be some of the preparation that our listeners could be using? What could they be doing to prepare for their Eukairia?
Well, and even, I'll answer that one just a second, because as you were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like perfect for sales, right? Think of the analogy. How many sales get lost because you talked through the moment to close? Yeah. Or get lost because you closed too early and that person did not have the information, and they didn't even have the information to know what questions to ask you, right? And so that, just like you have to get the training and the experience to learn what's the right moment to harvest the crop, you have to get the training and the experience to know what's the right moment to close the sale as well. So I thought that was, I didn't know if you quite caught that analogy all the way through. I wanted to carry it through because I thought that was really smart. You're smart.
Thank you.
You're smart a lot of times. I'm proud of you. I know, right? No, you do have really, I love that I love how you relate things and we think of things differently. I think that's what makes us work as a podcast couple team. I guess we probably aren't a couple.
We're not a couple, we're a partnership.
We're partners, right? There we go. That's a better word.
Yeah.
But okay, so your question was, what are some of the things people do to lead up to that Eukairia moment in sales?
Prepare. Yes.
And I think, there's two pieces to this, right? If you think about, there's the learning side, right, where the farmer had to learn how to farm, but there's also the actual process of farming. So there's the learning side of what you have to learn how to sell. There's also the process of actually doing the sale. And I think, it does start with learning. And yeah, you can do on the job training, right? But you are going to make more mistakes and lose out on more sales. But I think one of the big keys is to have a guide, have a mentor, have a coach, have someone you can go to. It may be your sales manager. It may be a more experienced sales rep. It may be someone you never actually talked to. I would happily say, and thanks to this podcast, have had the chance to actually talk to Jeb Blunt, but I would say Jeb Blunt is someone that I very much look up to as one of my sales mentors and guides. He provides some very, very timely, appropriate guidance for me in how to increase my sales skills. So I think having a guide, having that mentor makes a huge difference, even if it's someone you don't talk to, right? I mean, Jeb and I are not on the phone every day or every week or anything like that. But So anyhow, so I think having that coach, having that guide is hugely, hugely important.
And I think another key, and this is something I'm working on in my businesses this year, and it's having systems. So one of the speakers, for those of you who weren't aware, one of the speakers that we had was Mike Michalowicz, and he just put out a book called Clockwork. And what happened was he was working all of these long hours, and finally he was confronted with that fact by his wife. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it really became, I would say, a Eukairia moment, where he realized he could not continue living life the way he was. It was endangering his marriage. It was endangering his family. It was threatening the very values that he was going into business for. And so he talked about systemizing your business. And I think that's one of the things that really hit me strong, because I know to systemize my business. I know if I want to get clear and I want to have freedom and I want to be able to go on a 2-week vacation and not have to take my cell phone with me. I know these things are so important. And yet I didn't seem to have the tools to really begin to implement it. And Mike made it super clear, super easy. There are 4 stages. There's the doing stage, there's the deciding phase, there's the delegating stage, and there's the designing stage. Now, if you want to know more about that, you need to contact us, because we'll let you know how you can get a copy of Mike's book, Clockwork. But if you don't have those processes in place, what if you don't have that process? You have this tremendous opportunity and you can't take advantage of it because you simply don't have the infrastructure to service your clients the way you want. See, that's
and one
important part too.
Going back to something another one of our speakers said, Matthew Pollard talked in his workshop about how practicing and setting up your stories and your system, right? Because having a sales system is just as applicable for sales reps as it is for business owners. I mean, it's all the same thing. Yeah. And he talked about one of the perks of taking time to figure out your stories in advance is that it allows you to then focus on the actual sales process. Right. So if you are focused on, if you're sitting here and you're trying to be, okay, I got to remember to say this part and then this part. And did I forget? Oh, crap. I totally forgot to say that part of the story. And that's so important. You're not focused on the client. You're not focused on closing the deal. And that's huge, 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 huge. And so having those systems for your business, having those systems for your sales allows you to then focus on somebody else and on the things that will create that exponential growth in your business. And I think that is vastly understated and massively important.
Extremely so, extremely so. And I want to encourage our listeners to really follow us in this series, because a lot of what we're going to be talking about the first half of 2019 is going to be about Eukairia. It's going to be about the concepts that we learned at the Grow Retreat. And also, keep in mind, if you are struggling with any of these areas, you can contact us for a free, or you can contact me. I know for sure Stephanie, she doesn't have as many coaching spots available, but I have a couple of extra coaching spots. Anyway, we would love to be able to help you and really give you some guidance on the things that we have learned and we're implementing. Like Stephanie and I were working together now to systematize, because we want to be ready for that moment. We don't want an opportunity to pass by. And listeners, listen to me. We don't want an opportunity to pass you by, the one that's going to explode your business. It's going to give you the freedom you're looking for. Take the time to systemize, get a mentor, take every step you need to, every preparation you need to, so that when the fitting time arrives, you are ready. The sickle is ready. We have combines now, so your machine is well oiled. I think that's a great analogy. You understand that it's not the big things. So if you feel like this is a huge, enormous project, let me encourage you, let us encourage you that take it one step at a time. Black belts don't become black belts when they start wearing the white belt. A black belt is only a black belt, is only a white belt who doesn't quit. Stay with it. Make those small adjustments that you need to take your dream, your business, your goals to the next level, because that's what we're here to help you with. Any last words, Stephanie, before we close this session?
I don't really think so. I think the only thing I would really wrap up with, I guess if I had to come up with something on the fly here, is to make sure you are taking time to look for that Eukairia moment every day. They exist all over the place. There will always be that perfect opportunity for you to take advantage of. And the beautiful thing is, the more you look for these, the more you are going to be able to differentiate between the perfect opportunity and the opportunity, right? Because there is a difference. Not every opportunity that comes your way is a perfect opportunity, and not every opportunity needs to be jumped at, because sometimes they pull you away from the larger goal. But be watching for them, because if you're not watching for them, you won't see them. Period. End of discussion. You just won't freaking see them. So be watching for them, and the more you watch for them, the more you will know when that opportunity comes up, when that perfect opportunity comes up, you will know. Once again, I want to encourage you guys to join us over at facebook.com/groups/black belt selling. We keep posting in there every time these episodes go live, keep you guys up to date on what's going on. And as often as we can, we try and get our guests to hop on over and join the group as well, so you can get to know them as well. We are also, Anna, you want to tell them about a new exciting piece of information?
So we are excited to announce that in the next 2 months, you will be able to watch Black Belt Selling on Roku TV. So you want to stay tuned to this station. You want to be listening, because you want to know when you can see us live. Well, not live, but when you can see us on Roku TV. We're so excited. Let your friends know. And please, please, please follow us. Follow us on iTunes. You can find us on iTunes at Black Belt Selling. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Spreaker as well as SoundCloud. So go over there and just click the button. Then you'll get notified when these things come live. So we really appreciate you, our listeners. Thank you for giving us over 4 wonderful years. We're going into our 5th year of podcasting. And that's phenomenal, because a lot of people don't do this. And start looking for small mini series in our podcast. We're going to start doing a few of those. So concentrated stuff that's really going to be a blessing to you. Thank you for joining us. And Stephanie, why don't you say our goodbye?
Well, guys, you guys know every single day, your life is up to you. You are the only person who has the power, the ability, and the right to make the decision about whether or not your life is worth the effort it will take to make it great. So I want to encourage you to live every single day, not just looking for that Eukairia moment, but with the willingness and with the focus to put the effort in that your life deserves to make it great.